Folks, welcome back to So Bad It's Good, presented by Betches Media. Today, we have an amazing guest. Now, I have been down a rabbit hole of everything that she's involved in all weekend, and it took me literally all weekend. I found myself being inspired by her, actually, which I didn't expect to when I started looking into everything that she's been involved in, but it just truly became inspirational for me at a point. Now, you got to know her and love her through the very popular Netflix show Love is Blind, where they have this experiment, which we talk about all the time, where they put these people in pods, they don't let them see each other. And listen, most of the time, it is a train wreck, as we are seeing in season 5. Now, this person is the exception, not the rule. And I think that makes her somebody that needs to be studied. But on top of being one of the cast members on season 1 of Love is Blind, she has so many other things at play right now. And I could do just a whole conversation about how she focuses even on business, because it's inspirational. Not only does she have a book with her husband, Leap of Faith, Finding Love the Modern Way, she also has a insanely popular YouTube page with over 700,000 subscribers. It's called Hanging with the Hamiltons. I just watched a bunch of their videos. They are back with a vengeance in this last couple of weeks. And also her podcast, which is produced by Netflix, is called We Have the Receipts, which is a weekly deep dive into Netflix unscripted reality, hosted by one of my favorites, co-hosted by one of my favorites, Chris Burns, as you know him, at Fat Carrie Bradshaw on Instagram. She also has her own, she's the owner and founder of the Speed brand, which is a creative multimedia company in Atlanta where she is based. These are just, it's amazing what she's been a part of. So, without further ado, let's welcome her from Love is Blind season 1, Lauren Speed Hamilton. Lauren, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. That was a great intro. I need that recording and just play that on my voicemail.
I feel like
awesome.
that this is the interview. That's it. I have no more time to actually talk to you because of your achievements. Listen, we're talking on a Monday morning, and this was just something that popped into my head because I was like, wow, how do you approach a new week, a new work week where you work on Beyonce hours, where you are 24/7? How do you does Monday mean anything to you?
Yes. Every day means something to me. Honestly, I live off of a to-do list and my calendar, Google, and my assistant. Okay. I can't do it all on myself. I do a lot of stuff. My assistant, Tiffany, is amazing. But honestly, to-do lists and calendars help me just to stay organized. Because like you said, I have a lot going on, like many of us do. You know, so it just helps me to know, okay, I got to do this today. This is what I have to get done this week. So I'm try to be strategically organized person.
Wait, this is just a random question. Do you use a specific to-do list app? I've tried 5 of them, and I still am not getting things done. Is there one that you recommend?
You know what? I am actually an old school person when it comes to-do lists. I like to write things on my notebook. There's nothing there's nothing like pen and paper. I'm one of those people that carries around the little cute Target planners, and I'm like, okay, I got to do this today.
I love that.
That's my thing. Although Asana is amazing. I don't know if you've heard of
we
Asana.
just started using Asana, and I'm trying to get used to it, but it is one of those, it's like teaching my dad how to use any kind of new technology. It's takes forever for me to get comfortable with.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just got to get acclimated. But once you do, it's great.
Listen, you came to, a lot of us know you from Love is Blind season 1, and you really were, you and your husband, who you guys have been together 5 years now, married.
Yeah.
You really are the exception, not the rule on these shows now. We wouldn't have known that, but now we have 4 other seasons. What do you think makes your relationship so different? How have you guys been able to make it work, and others on this show have not had the success in love that you have?
Ooh, that's a good question, Ryan. Honestly, I feel like our season coming into Love is Blind, I just think maybe it's all about the intentions. We didn't really know much about the show. For us, it was really honestly an experiment. Let's just walk into this and see what happens. Let's have, an open heart and open mind. Now the show is heavily produced. Now people have seen the popularity of it. So they may not be going on it for the right reasons in the first place. So I think that just the quality, well, I'm not going to say the quality of people, that sounds terrible. I think that, just people's intentions going on the show is different. So, if you're not going in there with the right intentions to really find someone like for long term and really fall in love and find your husband or wife or significant other, then you're not gonna have longevity. Y'all gonna argue about the dishes and you're gonna get a divorce. Like it's gonna be over. It's a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as simple as that. I mean, take us
Yeah.
back though to before that. Like this show did not exist.
Mhm.
How did you actually even read about this show or audition for this show? And I think a lot of us as audience members, even still to this season, we look at this and we're like, "Are you out of your mind? You're
Yeah.
trying to find love without seeing the person. Are we?
Mhm.
Why would you even risk that in certain ways? I'm sure your family had bones to pick with you as well.
Oh,
What was going
absolutely.
through your mind at the time?
At the time, my dating life sucked, first and foremost. Honestly, the casting director reached out to me in my DMs. She slid in my DMs, y'all, crazy. And I was just like, what is this? Because I never, believe it or not, wanted to do reality TV. I was like, it's kind of messy. I've seen the housewife shows, I've seen like different shows. I just always see like women fighting. I'm like, that's not me. But she was very persistent. She hit me up multiple times. And then I was just like, well, my dating life does suck. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? So I talked to her more. We had a conversation. She sent me the application or just some paperwork to fill out. And then history was made from there. I told my parents they thought I was absolutely insane. Like, why you're going to talk to
Yeah.
people through a wall? What? Although my mom, she was intrigued. She was like, if you find somebody, this is great. I mean, you never know. Love is love. So, yeah, but my family is always very supportive. I'm, as you guys can see on the show, a very quirky type of person. I have my own ways, and once I set my mind to something, I do it. And my family has always been like, Lauren's just being Lauren. So they were surprised, but at the same time, they were like, okay, well, if this is what you really want to do, and I got a son-in-law out of it, so.
I mean, yeah, and this guy, I mean, Cameron Hamilton. He's a really good man. Or I
Yes,
mean,
he is.
it seems like he's a really
Yes.
great guy. I was watching your YouTube video about kind of catching us up on what you guys have been up to,
Mm-hmm.
and you just got a business space together where you guys
Yeah.
work out of, and you seem like you truly support each other and have these kind of
Mm-hmm.
adventures. Which, by the way, are you going to actually go see Usher finally? That seems to be one of the goals.
Oh my God, Ryan, I got my Usher tickets
You
this
did.
week. Yes, I am so excited. Cam's like, okay, I guess
Uh,
we're really gonna
Cam,
do this. Now
Cam
you
only knew the
saw
one Usher song. He only knew the
he
one Usher song.
I gotta get him ready. But you saw in that video, he said he was gonna have on an Usher t-shirt, right? So I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to hold him to it. I'm like, no, you said you're gonna have on a t-shirt. So I bought you this Usher t-shirt for you to wear, and this is what you're gonna wear to the concert.
You need to take it a step further and do one of those PJ sets with Usher's faces all over,
Oh
like
my
pants and shirt.
God. If Usher
Uh,
saw that, he would for sure give Cameron the mic. I think that's what he's trying to avoid. Because I'm like, Cam, you have to know these songs. So when he walks through the audience, he's going to see us and he's going to be like, finish the lyric. He's like, he's not giving me the mic. It's not
yeah,
happening.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I was like, is that the
yeah.
melody? I don't.
So when you're in these pods, I think just a lot of I've always been curious. It's edited down so deeply
Mm-hmm.
about, that we don't know how long you guys are in the pods. I think on the 5th season, they said they were in there 10 days. And sometimes I beg for Netflix just to release the unedited pod sessions because
Me
I want to
too.
know I want to know the awkward silences. I want to know all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can we trust that I mean, it seems like in your case, definitely, but I guess we're all just like how you really can let your heart go in these situations where you can't see somebody. How long are you in these pods? What's a pod session between you and Cameron? How long would these things go?
You know what? Honestly, Ryan, I was surprised too. Okay. Because the pod session is 10 days. I guess they're still keeping that because you said somebody from season 5 was
Yeah,
also
they
10
said that.
days.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the dates that you go on, these dates are like 3-4 hours sometimes, so you're just sitting in there talking to each other. Like, you remember back in the day when people used to like fall asleep on the phone? Like, I'm so old school.
Yeah.
I'm doing the old school phone hold. You just talk for hours about everything, like, and you get to connect with people so fast because you don't have television, you don't have friends, you don't have your phone to distract you. So 3 hours ends up feeling like 3 weeks because you covered all the bases. You know so much about this person that you don't even get to learn on most of your first dates.
Yeah.
So
But then if it doesn't work, like the men that you had to talk to that didn't work, did those 4 hours seem like an
oh
eternity?
yeah, I would take naps. Like, we had agreements, like, I would go into the pods, and if it was someone who I knew that I didn't connect with and it was a long day, it was like, "Look, you and I both know this is a friendship. We don't get a lot of sleep in here," because we would have, like, 16-hour film days sometimes, like, crazy long, and I'd be like, "Look, I need a nap. You need a nap? Cool. We're gonna do it together? Awesome." I would have nap dates, and it was
That
spectacular.
Oh my God, I would be freaking out if like the girl I was in the pods with wanted to take a nap date. I was like, this isn't going well. We're in a nap day
No,
right now.
no.
She's pretending she's sleeping to not talk to me.
Right. Say that you're asleep, but you're really over there, like,
Yeah.
writing something or something.
But I'd just be snoring like it's like, oh my God, he's a snorer. Okay, so we get to see your love story, and I think that's why we actually keep coming back to Love is Blind, because it provided a foundation of love, these
Mhm.
things that we believe in. And I think at the end of the day, that's human connection. Everything that we
Yeah.
do is supposed to try to connect with another person, or if we do it right on Earth. And we see that yours works, but then, like I said, it's kind of seemingly become a mess in a lot of ways, or those are the things that get highlighted sometimes because they're so
Mhm.
funny. And there's an ecosystem now that's been created with Love is Blind, or the lib community, and Netflix per se with Ultimatum and stuff like that. What have you thought as this ecosystem has grown since you guys have done it and you are the gold standard? How do you feel about it now?
You know what? To be honest, I wish that they focused more on the relationships that are loving and have good things going on. Of course, I know it's reality TV. Everybody wants to see drama. Everybody wants to
Yeah.
laugh at drama because it's something about that that's entertaining. When you see other people struggling and arguing, it kind of makes you feel like, oh, see, that's what I go through. So it is normal that people
Yeah.
have terrible dates and stuff like this. But also, I feel like the thing about me and Cam's story is people loved it so much because it was like, oh, finally, two genuine people like connecting on reality TV. We don't see this. And that's what I feel like so many people really connected to with us in our season. So I would like to see a little bit more of that sprinkled in, like the ultimatum. Who don't get me started, Ryan? I can't do the ultimatum. Oh my
Oh,
God.
it is why it is what I mean, it's
It's
just
like
so funny.
swingers. Like y'all
Well, that's what it encourages. And why it's like, just call it swingers and like just let's call it a day. We don't
you
even need
know,
to
it's like
call it
a
the
hall
ultimatum.
pass. You can go
Yeah.
sleep with them for a couple weeks and come back to me. Y'all didn't need to go on the show to do this. Like, take a break.
That's funny if they call the next season just Hall Pass. Like,
Swing-
we should just call it.
Exactly. Like, that's crazy.
But
So that's not for me.
you got what you needed to get out of
Yeah,
it.
you know?
And you've gotten so much more out of it. I think also the funny thing with you and Cam is that even when I was watching you guys this weekend or going to your YouTube, I was like, yeah, let me get my eyes on these guys again. Let's see if this is fake or not. Let's see if, it's like we're so
Mhm.
distrustful of reality television in a way because
Absolutely.
the audiences have become so sophisticated that we don't
Mhm.
believe anything that we see. We're like, oh, that person's just trying to get an Instagram following. That
Right.
person's that. So it's
Rightfully
interesting to watch.
so.
Well, but it's interesting to see you guys who have been able to do both. You've been able
Yeah.
to grow, like, quote unquote, your brand and do all of these
Mhm.
amazing things, but
Mhm.
we still genuinely believe in your love. I mean, is that
Mhm.
also hard to tie parts of your career and yourself to actually something that's very personal?
You know what? Yes and no. I think because prior to Love is Blind, that's kind of what my business was anyway. As you saw my uh general label, they had me down Lauren, content creator. But I actually have my own my own media company prior to going on Love is Blind. So, being creative, storytelling, that was always a part of my life. So it's like now that I have this platform and I'm sharing my life with so many others, naturally I would combine both my loves, right? Storytelling, being creative, and just the craziness that is my life and my lifestyle. So I kind of teeter the line between sharing a lot about my life and still keeping a little bit that's just
Yeah.
for me and my husband, because I think that that's important, just to kind of protect our marriage and our family. Because when you start to share too much, people just get people are already in my business, but extra in your business, they start telling lies and all that stuff. So I try to teeter the line, but I love it. I feel like I'm in such a blessed position where all of the ebbs and flows of my life kind of are flowing into each other and together. It's like everything's combined, which is good. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, you seem like you are so just adept at all of this. That's what I was
Mm-hmm.
so natural. It seems like every facet of this. When I was listening to the podcast, we have the receipts. You get to talk about these Netflix shows that you were
Mm-hmm.
once on, and
Yeah.
that kind of brings us, I guess, to this new season of Love Is Blind, which
Mm-hmm.
is funny. It's like strapping on a backpack, and it's like time to make the donuts. Got to talk about this show I once was on and what it's become. And this season really is going down as what we call like a train wreck of a season. And I don't mean
Yeah.
that in a completely negative way, because it's highly watchable. Like I'm really
Yeah.
hanging on. But I guess a bigger question is, what's wrong with men?
What's wrong with everybody? Okay, look, it's not just the men, it's the women. Because even watching this season, I said, huh? Like, it's just this season, the seasons in the past, just dating in general, I feel like is hard. I have a lot of single friends, men and women who are just like, help me. I'm like, hell, I had to go on a TV show. I don't know. I wish I could help. I could have helped myself. But it's just tough. I feel like, social media has made it harder for people to meet each other. Everything is so surface right now. Everything's like, you look good. That was supposed to be what the, draw to Love Is
Experiment.
Blind is. But as we saw on the new recent season, people get mad because you wear makeup in the reveal. Oh my
That
God.
was, what she's talking about, you
So,
guys, if you haven't seen it, which you can catch up still, is that, before this, the series finale is, I
mhm.
think it was named JP or J,
Yeah,
one of the,
JP, sugar butt.
one of the
Yeah.
J
Sugar
names.
butt.
He wears all American flag apparel
Yeah.
nonstop. He's probably wearing something right now with the flag on it. And it is wild because he's sitting down this lady that he falls in love with in the pods, and then tells her, you look good this way without makeup. And he wants to be patted on the back for telling her something that is just not asked of her. It is the weirdest thing. What do you think he was almost trying to throw this? And I didn't even understand where this conversation came from.
I don't either. Honestly, I feel like this is one of those situations where y'all should have never came out the pods. Why did y'all even get engaged? Because there was probably nothing there. To me, if I'm being honest, is giving, we want to continue the show and be on TV.
Yeah, that's why I want to see
And
the pod conversations. I want to see
yeah,
unedited. Why did I believe that they were in love at all?
right. And to me, she looked beautiful with or without makeup. Like, sir,
Yeah,
you need to
well,
put
it's
some
like
makeup on. Yeah.
nobody
So,
asked. By the way, that's not a conversation for like the first time you're with somebody in Mexico.
Exactly. It's just like, you're so fake. Is she? You just met her. Like, you don't even know. He's judging her on
He,
all the wrong things. That's the point of the
he has a
show.
1,000-yard stare. I couldn't tell if he was drunk or not half the time. He just looked like he was. I
It's
couldn't tell if he was
scary.
there or not.
Very intense. Yeah.
Another
But not
gentleman
intense.
that confuses me is Uche. And
Oh.
Uche, we followed his kind of, he's had relationships with a couple of different women, one even previous or prior to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it is wild because he's another one that seems to have very strong opinions and almost makes the woman that he's trying to start a relationship with feel bad, not only about being honest about cheating in a previous relationship, but then she makes the hard decision to leave the pods, and he
Mm-hmm.
chastises, like almost like just yells at her about this.
Which is crazy to me because the whole thing with Lydia and Uche, somebody cheated in that situation. I'm thinking it's Uche, and you got the nerve to get an attitude for this woman for being honest with you, and she left because she didn't want to be with you anymore because y'all was lying, telling stories. Oh, we were dating. Oh, we weren't dating. Y'all just was having the sexes, okay, two months ago. So what's really going on? That whole situation is just really strange to me. And, I applaud anyone who leaves the show because they feel like their time is up. Aaliyah, I'm sorry, JP's girl, Sugar Butt lady. I can't think of her.
Let's just use Sugar Butt's great.
Sugar Butt, yeah, Sugar Butt. Because I feel like on these shows, you do kind of get pressure from production sometimes. Like, are you sure you don't just want to stay and see what happens? Like, you can be on TV. It's like, no, I've had enough. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I really applaud those people who are just like, this isn't for me. I'm walking away. Good.
Oh,
good for them.
Totally. I'm all the time
good
like,
for them.
it makes me believe in the reality of the show when they make actually smart, informed decisions.
Absolutely.
But Lydia was, Lydia's a very interesting character as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because Lydia winds up with Milton. Is that right?
Yes. Milton is, to me, is the best thing about the whole season. I think he's hilarious.
Why do you like Milton?
Milton is just funny because he's such a 24-year-old. Like, he says things like, yeah, and vibes, and
Can I play Xbox until 4 in the
Can I
morning
play
with my
Xbox?
friends?
Like he asked to go to the arcade and shit like that. Like he
He's
doesn't
like,
really do that, but it's just like he is funny to me and he's entertaining.
yeah, I mean, and she tried to get him to wear shorts, like different, like a certain color shorts, and he was like,
He wasn't having
"No,
it.
I'm wearing the black shorts." And like, he was like standing up to his mom or something. He's like,
He's
"I am taking a
that's
stand right now."
Sadly, it did feel like he was standing up to his mom. That part is a little weird. I saw online where somebody said it's like the young guy from the basketball team who's like secretly dating his friend's mom. I was like, oh, they do kind of give those vibes. That's really
And
yikes.
then Uche was dating Lydia before in the pods. And this is the
Yeah.
only thing I will say in terms of like a little bit of a shady story from a woman is that obviously it seems like Lydia was in the stories of some of people that Uche was involved in.
Yeah.
And like, women had reached out to Uche and said, "Hey, this random girl that seems like knows you is viewing my stories." And she is like, "That is not true." Like, it is very interesting. She's never given a straight
Mhm.
answer, but
Mhm.
even when the Pod Squad, which it's funny, now they have a group of people that didn't make the cut called the Pod Squad that comes back.
Yes. I've seen
And
that.
yeah, like I don't know, it's fascinating, but I think I'm very curious to see how this all plays out.
Me too.
Well, listen, I think you've watched the entire season, and I know you
I
can't
have,
tell us what
but
happened.
I have to. I'm excited to see the rest too, Ryan. I can't give you any spoilers. I will get into a lot of trouble, but I don't know. The thing with Lydia and Uche is weird to me. It's like they still want each other. Like why are y'all still
Well, yeah, it's
passionate
like you
about what's going on?
you guys are all up in each other's business. Uche comes
Yeah,
back to be like, "I gotta clear things up," and I know
like
that's
no, you
dramatic.
didn't. You didn't
Yeah,
have to do that.
you
You
could
could
have
have
let
just
it
went
lie.
home. You did not have to come back and argue with her. And then the fact that Uche went to Milton was like, listen, I just want to warn you, bro. Like,
I
she's
like you.
crazy. Yeah.
I
Milton's
like when
like,
men are like, "I like you,
what?
dude.
I
It's
know.
just the woman you choose to love I do not like, and I need to tell you that."
It's like, get out of here with that. You still want her. What's up? Like, it's weird.
Which, by the way, your husband on the YouTube channel has a great interview with Aaliyah
Hmm.
that's on there right now. Now, I mean, just speaking of what you've been able to build after the show, it was already in process before the show for you, but your social media, your YouTube, I mean, 700,000 subscribers, that's an insane number. I mean, the one
Yeah.
video just has been out for like 2 days and it's already like 250,000 views.
Yeah.
What's it like, and even speak to potential responsibility that you have when creating content to make sure that it is your voice, what you want to put
Hmm.
out there, and when you involve Cameron in it, like what are those discussions that go into what you create?
Absolutely. I like to use my social media and platform. I like to think of it as a vehicle for my creativity, as a way that I can really connect with our supporters. But also, I take my platform really seriously. I'm sure that I spread love and joy and entertainment. Like, we all need to laugh sometimes. And that's what I really try to focus on. Me and Cam's content, we just like to have a good time. People constantly ask us about our day to day. So we like to share those things online. But really, I just try to be myself because that's why I'm here. That's what got me here. So why would I stop now? It's just having fun while doing it.
Have you always been a big dreamer, or once a lot of things
Yes.
started taking up? Well, I guess, and are those dreams getting bigger and bigger each year?
Absolutely. I feel like if your dreams aren't scaring you at least a little bit, then you're dreaming too small. And I'm scared every day. Okay. I'm like,
Wait,
oh
what are
my
you
God,
scared?
I
Wait,
got too
what are
much.
you scared of this week? Like, take us into this week. What is
Oh, what am
on
I
the like
scared of this
horizon that
week?
you're like, this makes my stomach hurt?
How much time do we got, Ryan? No,
I mean, we got about 20 minutes. You can go. Yeah.
honestly, this week I'm scared because I'm in the process of actually working on my nonprofit. Yet something else, right? I'm
I was going to
excited.
ask you about that. What is your nonprofit? Explain what this is.
Yes. So my nonprofit, the Eddie Robbie Foundation, which was named after both of my grandmothers, growing up and just throughout their lives, they constantly loved on other people, poured into them. And that's something that I want to continue myself and in my community. So I'm using this foundation, which is going to be launching at some point this year, maybe in the next couple weeks, actually, to pour into my community through mental health, financial literacy, wellness, creativity, and art. All the things that I kind of had as a child, because coming up, my mom kept me in like special programs that we could go to for, like low income families and things, or maybe you may not be able to afford that $5,000 art camp, but you still kind of get the experience of being in a creative space with other young people like you, or talking to people, from that arena. Or maybe you're a mother who has 3 kids who is trying to get a job, but you don't really have the resources to get in the right mindset, or whatever you need. I'm trying to be a source of resources for these people. So I'm super excited about it. And it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. So that's what I'm nervous about. I'm excited, but I'm nervous just because it is yet another thing on my plate. And I'm just one of those people who is very faith-based. So I'm like, God, I'm already doing a lot of stuff. Like, are you sure? But you just have to trust the process. Like I said, if your dreams are not scaring you, you're not dreaming big enough, because how will you ever know how far you can stretch yourself, how much you can do if you don't try?
Are you even surprised at how far you're going with your dreams?
Oh, I'm not surprised. No. And I say that humbly though, because honestly, Ryan, everything that I'm stepping into in my life right now is stuff that I have cried and prayed about my whole life. Like, and it does
Yeah.
scare me. I am someone who has anxiety. I talk about that on my socials all the time. Like, I'm very anxious. So, and a lot of pressure comes with having platform, with, being, I don't like calling myself a celebrity. Oh, that's so weird to me. But just having platform, I prefer saying that. So, a lot of pressure comes with that, but I just try to silence all of that and just focus on the purpose. Why are you doing this? Like, how
Yeah.
are you trying to help others? What makes you happy? And that's, what I try to focus on.
Well, yeah, a life of service is a life well lived.
Absolutely.
Also, I saw that you were working on a documentary. Now, you can't tell us what that's about, but like,
Yes.
that's another thing. I was like, gosh, you're doing a documentary too? Like, I was like,
Yes.
what?
So, yeah, with my media company, the Speed brand. So I'm super excited to be working on a documentary with my family, because I actually come from an industry family. Y'all saw my crazy daddy on the show asking Cameron crazy questions. But I'm super, like, there's so many wonderful things that are circulating through my life right now. Terrifying, but blessings,
Yeah.
So.
Right after Love Is Blind hit, now you had filmed it, I think, a good while before it came out. Is that correct?
Yeah, we filmed it 1.5 years before it came out.
Now, I remember watching the very end, and it was right before the pandemic hit, which was very interesting that it was a pod-based show, and then all of a sudden we were kind of locked in our own pods.
Oh my
and
God.
I always thought about that. But what was it like for this thing to hit and be huge, and then all of a sudden you were like stuck at home and not able to go out there and promote the way that you used to promote, and you plug, all those things. What was that experience like years ago for you coming out of this?
2020 was a year that I'll never forget. One, because it was this whole big build up to the show coming out. Like I said, we waited 1.5 years, right? So in my mind, I didn't want to be like, oh, the show's going to be successful. Oh, it's going to fail. I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. Then, the pandemic happened. And in some weird way, even though it was a crazy time, it actually worked to the show's benefit, because everyone was stuck at home, and what were they watching? Love Is Blind and Tiger King. Like, that's all that everybody was talking about.
By the way, that's why we were so disturbed during that time. We were literally watching Tiger King and Love Is Blind, and that's what we had.
Exactly. So it kind of grew this like cult like following. Like, people will come up to me on the street and be like, listen, you literally got me through the pandemic. Like, I believe in love because of you and your husband. Like, you guys touched my lives in these surreal ways. So it's really unbelievable. But at the same time, my life was in such a parallel, because it's like, God, all these things are happening. Like, the show's taking off. We were literally like the most talked about topic in the world, because Netflix is global. So it wasn't just US. We were getting people hitting us up in Europe and, Asian countries, Africa. Like, it blew up so massively. But at the same time, over here, we were going through George Floyd. We had all the riots going on. So it was just, then we had the pandemic, these crazy parallels, like, oh, I'm up here, but I'm also down here. So it was just an experience that I'll never forget. It's hard to even explain. Like, the extreme highs and extreme lows simultaneously were insane.
Yeah, that life seems to be wild like that. There's never just a place of like pure everything is going amazing. It's always like the spice with the whatever. moving on, I was thinking about like, have you ever been approached, or would you guys ever consider of like, okay, we need the Lauren and Cameron reality show. We see how well it works on YouTube. We see this. Would you guys do that, or have you already been offered that and turned it down?
I think for us, it really just has to make sense. We're open to doing a reality show, but we don't want it to be something that will be cheesy and lessen our brand because we're just trying to hurry up and get back on TV. Like, it has to be the right fit for who we are, who we're growing to be, and what we stand for. And at the same time, it's like you may see us on TV, but it may not even be in that capacity of reality. Like, you never know.
Okay,
It could be
interesting.
something different. It might be, I don't
Wait, are
wanna
you gonna
say
play
too
like
much.
detectives on a cop drama? What are we talking
Hey,
about?
you never know, Ryan. Okay, we may be. Who knows? I would be a detective in a cop drama. Shoot,
Well,
put me
listen,
in a Hallmark movie.
if Nick and Vanessa ever step down, I think you guys would make great hosts for the show.
Yes, a lot of people echo that sentiment. Like, it's crazy what a couple months ago it was a whole petition circling.
I saw that.
Yeah, it had like 45,000 signatures. I'm like, no, Nick and Vanessa hate us.
Well, I mean, but listen, Vanessa went way too hard at that reunion, and I was like, it was wild because I don't know, you kind of when you're in that position, you kind of keep it an even keel. I mean, I think this is an automatic no. But you said you used to watch Housewives, or you watched Housewives in the past.
Mhm.
Would you ever be a Real Housewife of Atlanta?
Excuse me. It's funny because I don't want to say too much, but I don't know. I'm not the type of person to be fighting somebody. In the Real Housewives of Atlanta, seems they're really focused on like fights and drama. And
Yeah.
listen, I have my Detroit side, okay, but that's not what I'm trying. I'm all about love and positivity. So I'm not about to be fighting on nobody, because they talking about my husband or something. It's just,
We need the positive person that doesn't want to fight. We need
I
that
will
person.
be the positive person who doesn't want to fight. If I was to do that show, I would have to be the Zen energy,
And you Candy Burris, she's like a business mastermind. She could like mentor you. I can see a little positive storyline there potentially.
Yeah, that could work. We'll see.
So what in terms of pop culture and things like that, what do you watch for enjoyment? What do you listen to for enjoyment? Are those things a part of your life on the day-to-day?
Absolutely. I love, film and television. That was like my major in college. So I'm all about movies. Me and Cam actually just discovered a show called The Wheel of Time. Have you heard of this?
No, what's that on?
So it's on Amazon, and Cam loves like sci-fi.
Yeah, he was talking about one in his
right?
office to be like cyberpunk or something like that.
He
Or
loves like sci-fi Renaissance witchy like time stuff. So we found this show, and it's actually really, really good. It's called The Wheel of Time, and it's in that whole era where they're like, "I shall fight you for the crown," like, but they're like witches. It's good. So we actually just binged that. What else am I watching? That's really been the main thing. I watch a lot of like older stuff. Like, I love watching Martin reruns because classics, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah,
It's wild. I mean, thinking about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air too, I is that Will Smith, in the first episodes of that show, you can see him repeat his like other
mouth
people's lines of
moving.
dialogue because he didn't know how to do it. And it just shows you the
Crazy.
will that he had to become better, was that he kind of willed himself and worked himself into one of the best actors that we have. And I always think about that of like where he started. He had that opportunity, but he wasn't like the best at it and where he got to.
It's amazing. That goes back to, just the drive. Like, he memorized the whole script, everyone's lines, just so he could have his and be like, "Oh, it's my turn."
Yeah.
Like that's great.
But to teach yourself to learn to listen and then to learn to really inhabit a role, I thought, wow, that really does take so much work. And like you said, willpower. By the way, I was just thinking about the TV show with Cameron is, one of the biggest fights couples have is what to watch on TV. Is like that really can make or break a relationship right there.
Yes.
Through
funny. Oh,
sorry. No, please.
I was just going to say, it's funny because I also watch, like, one of my favorite shows to watch is like The Chi, which just comes on Showtime. Yeah. But Cam does not like a lot of violence, even though he likes witch violence. I don't know. It's weird. So,
witch
it's like,
violence is much different.
I guess that's okay. But I'll be watching that. He'll be like, "What is this? Oh, it's so violent." And then he'll sit down and he'll just binge the whole thing with me. That's usually how it tends to go in our house. He'll be like, "Oh, you're watching this again," and then he eases on the couch. Next thing you know, he's 8 episodes in, and
Witch violence. That's well. What if like I mean, you guys wrote a book on
Mhm.
relationships and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I mean, as you progress, 5 years in, what has been the toughest part of your very real relationship that started on a
Mm.
reality show but is very real? What's been the toughest part? What's been the hurdle that you didn't expect?
Ooh, the hurdle that I didn't expect. That's a good one. I would say just as you grow as a person, you also have to grow as a couple, right? So it's just like you can't just be like, "Oh, it's me, 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 me. This is what I want to do. This is what I." It's like you have to also support that in the realm of the us as well. Like I'm doing this because I love it, but I'm also doing it for us, which has been something that's been kind of a learning role for me because like I said on the show, hey, I've been single for a long time. I went on the show in my 30s. I was already kind of set. So,
Yeah.
I had to kind of grow into that over the 5 years, but I've come a long way. And it's kind of beautiful releasing that part of you like, okay, it's us. I have a partner. I don't always have to be like, oh, it's me. It's me. I'm the strong, woman, which is nothing wrong with being a strong woman. Shout out to the strong women. Okay. But it's just kind of nice to be able to relax into knowing that I have a partner that has my back and being confident in him in our relationship and that we'll push each other
I mean, it's still gonna blow your mind that this did start on a reality show. Like, no,
every day.
that will always be the beginning of your story, which so few
Yeah.
people will have. I mean, I guess it's as we continue on in life, more and more people potentially will have that story. Weirdly enough, but you are
You
one of
know,
the only people that it's working for.
Ryan, sometimes I will just have these moments of consciousness where I'll just be in the kitchen and I'll just look over like, I really have a husband who I
Yeah.
met on a TV show. Like, this is really our house. Like, I live here with you. Wait, like, this is honestly, it just hits me like at the most random times, at least once a week. I'll just be staring at camera. He's like, "What are you staring at?" It's like, "You're really my husband. Like, we're married."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
So
yeah, I can't believe it either. This
I
is,
know.
and he's like, anyways, let's get back to this witch show that we're watching.
Exactly.
Uh, um,
Exactly.
since you did write this book on relationships, which you guys can
Mhm.
get on Amazon, I'm going to make sure you put the link. What are some of those things that you find as pitfalls when you're, viewing other people's relationships or even watching these shows? Or what are the common missteps that people can make? And when do you decide to do something for yourself if something is not right? Like we were talking about in Love is
Mm.
Blind, the girl that decided to leave.
Yeah. Missteps that people make. I think one of the main things that I see, in relationships just in general, I think that a lot of people feel like going into something they have to change themselves or morph themselves into something that they feel like will be more attractive to the other person, whether that's changing their personality a little bit or hiding an aspect of themselves just because it'll make them more likable or more relatable. It's like, no, do you. Do you be you? If you want someone to really love you for you in a relationship, you got to be yourself. Because if not, how are they going to really know who you are and accept you for who you are? So I always tell people, just open yourself up to love. And that includes that vulnerability of really being yourself. And when you find the person who actually loves your true self, whew, you got a winner. You got a
I mean,
winner.
and you guys both probably had a
Yeah.
string of relationships that did not work, that you knew what you were not looking for.
Yes.
But at the same time, I don't think anything could have prepared either of you guys that you turned out to be each other's one, because you
Oh,
don't know
man.
what you're actually looking for sometimes.
Yeah. Well, going on the show, once I realized, like, okay, I'm really doing this, like, I made it a point to, like, I have my little vision board and stuff. Like I said, I'm a person who makes lists. Okay. So I actually wrote down, like, okay, I want someone who is A, B, C, and D. And going into the pods, I was sure to really hold to that. Like, I want what I want, even though some things, you have to adjust. Like, okay, well, they have this quality, maybe not this one, but I still like them overall as a person, so
I
that's
like that
okay.
you're bartering on things. Like, I can give up that. Like, it doesn't have to
Because
be
you
neat.
have
I can
to,
give.
some people have lists that are like 300 points long, and it's like, sis, bro, you may not get all that in one person. Sometimes you gotta bend and stretch to make it do what it do. I had to do that with Cam in some instances, and look, I'm very happy. So you just have to open your mind, open your heart to get the best experience out of relationships. Because being rigid doesn't always work for your benefit, even though you think it will.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. As we start winding down here, I'm also just more fascinated with how you do approach life. I think that is such
Hmm.
something meaningful to me, even aside from the show, is, vision boards, lists, all of these things, kind of
Yeah,
not the
I'm a
hustle culture.
manifester.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, manifesting. Like, speak about manifesting. Like, has this
Hmm.
always been something? Like, when did you learn about things like this? When did you learn about like trying to manifest better things in your life? Has that been since you were a kid, or how did that come
Oh,
about?
absolutely. Absolutely. I've always been a dreamer, like we talked about earlier. And I think it was a period in my life right before Love is Blind. It was actually really dark for me. Like I said, my relationships weren't working out that good. I wasn't really happy with the corporate job that I was working. This is before I quit to, pursue my own business. And it was just like, okay, if you want something, Lauren, you are going to have to work for it. You're going to have to fight for it. Nobody's going to come hand you anything. No one's coming to save you. There's what they taught you as a kid is not true. No one in a cape is coming to like whisk you off. Even though I did kind of get whisked off, but anyway, um, it's like you have to fight for yourself. You have to believe in yourself. So I just got to a point where I was like, okay, what do you want to do? Write it down. How do you get to these points? What are the steps that you need to take to do these things? And that's just kind of how I started with my vision board. It's something about posting and looking at the things that you want to do every day, waking up and seeing that visual, like, oh, I want to be in this theater, or I want to write this. Theater isn't like me with my creativity and filming
Yeah.
and stuff. So people are like, she wanted to be an actress. I knew it. No, I'm talking about my
By the way,
media
everybody is so
company.
hopped up on that. These people want to be actors. I don't even
Yeah.
think it's that. I think a lot of these people now just want to be like on social media and things like that.
Yeah,
Not, I mean,
exactly.
yeah, but so that's very important. Do you sit there? Do you have a morning routine that includes meditation and things? Do you just sit there and
Yes.
dream on things?
I absolutely. I'm definitely getting more consistent with my meditation because I realize how much of a difference it makes for the day. Like instead of waking up and instantly getting your phone and checking emails and scrolling on social media, like so many of us do, myself included at first, I was like, no, don't even look at your phone at first. Get up, say your prayers, if you do pray, meditate. What do you want this day to feel like? What do you want it to look like? What do you want to accomplish today? Maybe work out, work on your body and your mind simultaneously when you first get up. Drink some water, get your organs good, and then when you're ready, face the world. It's like you don't have to face all of that loud noise right away when you first wake up. It's such a disruptor to your spirit and your mind. It just kind of sets you off course because you're instantly thinking
Oh
of
yeah.
somebody else. If you instantly get on Instagram and look at other people's lives and what they're doing, like first thing in the morning, you're not even thinking about yourself. How
Oh,
can
it's
you
despair.
plot and
It's
plan your
despair
own
immediately.
strategy? Yeah,
It's
so I've been learning that, and it's hard to do because we're all addicted to social media. I think we can just
Yeah, no, I mean,
say
it's
that.
it's
Yeah,
such a part of, I mean, it's like that itch you can't scratch, and it never fully
absolutely.
makes you
It's
feel.
like
It's
crack.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
listen, I've not experienced crack yet, but
I
I
haven't
like,
either, but
yeah, that's the pull quote.
you know what I mean,
Neither
Ryan.
of us have experienced crack. That's what we're basically trying to say
Neither
with
of
this
us have
entire
experienced crack.
interview.
I
Yeah,
mean, you know what I was trying to
I
say.
know what you mean
It's
completely,
addicting. Yes.
but it's
Ryan
that more.
Ryan just called me a crackhead, y'all. Y'all
Yeah.
heard him? See?
This interview
See?
was going so well until no, I think about morning routines a lot because it's so
Yeah.
hard sometimes to do the right thing that you
Mhm.
almost kind of set roadblocks in your path, and
Absolutely.
especially like those morning things because it's so much easier to pick your phone up and start comparing
Mhm.
yourself to other people instead of
Mhm.
doing something like taking your vitamins, but you like doing all these
Right.
things that you could actually do for yourself. I think we're in this culture now that we kind of set these obstacles in our path and then
Do
wonder why we're upset.
Yes, do you meditate?
I well, see, that's the deal. Like, I will, like, it's
What's
on
your
my to-do
morning
list.
routine?
Lauren, thank you for asking. No,
Yes.
listen, I have this thing. It's called to do. It's called, no, sorry, Done. It's an app called Done, and I have like
Oh, I've
30
heard of that
things on
one.
here. So it's basically like brush teeth in the morning, check my calendar, meditate, write in journal. So it's all of these things, and then you get to hit the box. But the thing is, with
Mhm.
meditation, it's the one that I don't do every day. And I
Mhm.
don't know what that block is because I've had
Mm.
periods of time where I will do it and it helps. But for
Yeah.
some reason, I get scared to sit in silence. And it's a
Mm.
roadblock.
That's deep right there.
Yeah,
scared to sit in
I hate to get
silence with your
no, but I
thoughts, you know?
but that's why I was so enjoying learning more about you and how much more you are than somebody that was on Love Is Blind, because I'm always looking for
Mhm.
somebody that has it right, that's on the right path, that's somebody that
Yeah.
we can look up to and go, what do you do? Like, could I try that? And I think
Mhm.
you are that kind of person to a lot of people. So I'm so thankful to actually get to study you and learn a little bit more about you, because I'm really interested in trying to get to that next level like you are doing, and what a fight
Mhm.
that can be sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm still a work in progress. Believe you me, I have my struggles just like everybody else, but I just push through them. I think that's the
Well,
key,
listen,
you
you got to
know?
live with Cameron. That's a big struggle,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Sometimes, look,
Uh,
sometimes.
well, this has just been delightful. Lauren Speed Hamilton, how do we catch up on everything? Like, where's like the one place to go? I'm going to put all the links
Mhm.
on the description, you guys. But where do we go to find out everything? Where do we go to find out about this documentary when it's announced? You know, where do
Yes.
we go?
So I share a lot of my life and everything on Instagram. So you guys can find me over there at Need for L Speed, or just search Lauren Speed Hamilton on all social medias and I should pop up. You'll find me.
And you guys, the Netflix podcast actually is really worth your time. It's We Have the Receipts. It's really funny. Do you guys know what show you're going to be covering after Love Is Blind?
So we actually have Selling Sunset coming up,
Oh,
and yeah,
did
the
you
new
watch Selling the
season.
OC this season?
I did. Ooh, yes.
The way they ended
The
that with Alex
drama.
and Tyler kissing in the hot tub, and
Ugh,
then did you see that
that
Tyler?
wasn't their first time kissing,
I,
please. You didn't
did,
believe that, did you, Ryan? They had
listen.
make out
Let me have
sessions.
my fairy tales. Like, come on.
I
Did you
wasn't
see that he
believing that
left?
this is the first time. He
Did you see he
left?
left the show? Tyler left the show last week.
Oh, he did.
He made the announcement he's going to work with his dad's company again.
Oh, probably because
Yeah.
he was getting so much backlash. Like, people can be really cruel.
Okay,
Honestly,
wait,
like,
sorry. Last question. I'm so sorry.
uh-huh.
What was
No,
that like for all of us to be in your business on something that you put out there, obviously for public consumption,
mhm.
but then we also had all opinions on this, and I think a lot of them were very nice for you guys because we
Yeah.
believe in you. But I'm
Mhm.
sure everything has negative backlash now. What's that like to actually get comments
Absolutely.
about something real in your life?
Yeah, I definitely went through an adjustment period. It's crazy just when people just flood into your life, like you said, they give you all the opinions. Luckily for me and Cam, it was mainly love. Of course, every now and then you get a little troll that has something ugly to say. But unfortunately, it's like you can read a million loving comments, but that one angry evil comment will stick with you throughout the day. So that takes a certain mental power, but it's hard. People open up their lives. Sometimes you get love, sometimes you get hate. For me, I just try to shut out everything. I don't even like to read all of the comments all the time because you're bound to find that one person
Yeah.
who's kind of
You're
miserable,
almost
which,
looking for it. You're looking for the negativity almost.
and
Yeah.
honestly, the comment usually has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. So I just try to remember that, like, this is a them problem. This has nothing to do with me. If they're going through something and they feel the need to write something mean and evil, that's on them because I'm still going to be
Yeah.
me. And that's just how I try to look at it.
Well, Lauren Speed Hamilton is one to watch. I cannot wait to see where you go from here. Thank you for
Thank
spending so much
you.
time with me and my audience today, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you soon down the line.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a great conversation. I
I know
like
it really
this. I'm going to have
was.
to come back. I'm
Thank you,
inviting
Lauren.
myself back.